and welcome to today's video. This is Canaan Bible Studies. I'm Kate.
And I'm Monica.
And today we are on the second part of our Revelations 3 series. Starting back off where we left off at Revelations 3:5, which reads, "He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment. And I will not blot out his name in the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels." Also, I think I said raiment. It's raiment. Picking up from where we left off, which would be point 2. Jesus explained the absolute necessity of this being clothed by God with his garments of purity and righteousness in his parable of the wedding feast, Matthew 22:11-14. Real righteousness is receiving God's covering instead of trying to cover ourselves. Adam and Eve tried to cover their own sin, Genesis 3:7, but God provided them with a covering that came from sacrifice, Genesis 3:21. B. I will not blot out his name from the book of life. By this the overcomers were assured of their heavenly citizenship. In the ancient world, death or criminal conviction could blot out the name of an ancient citizen from the city's book of the living, which was the city's register. 1. In ancient times, cities kept a register of their citizens, and when a man died, his name was removed from the register. The risen Christ is saying that if we wish to remain on the roll of the citizens of God, we must keep our faith flamingly alive. C. Blot out his name from the book of life. Does this mean that someone can lose their salvation? That someone is saved one day, their name is in the book of life, and another day we have fallen away and their name has been blotted out from the book of life? We need first to see the context here in Revelation 3:5. The focus is assurance, so we should not think that names are being constantly erased and rewritten. The focus here is not the idea that Jesus sits in heaven with a busy eraser. At the same time, we should carefully consider what the word has to say about the book of life. 1. There is a book of life, and it will be opened and referenced on the day of judgment. This means that the book of life is real and will be read. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God, and books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged according to their works by the things which were written in the books. Revelations 20:12. 2. There is a book of life, and it determines if we go to heaven or hell. This means that the book of life is important, and anyone not found in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Revelations 20:15. There is a book of life, and knowing our names are written there should bring us great joy. Nevertheless, do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. Luke 10:20. 4. There is a book of life, and there are 5 different references to people being blotted out of the book. This means that the idea of being blotted out of the book of life should be taken seriously. Perhaps it is only a symbol that that person's name was never there to begin with. Even if that is the case, the Lord still wants us to take it seriously. Because there are some who by every human appearance are saved, yet will not be in heaven. Moses said to the Lord, "Yet now, if you will forgive their sin, but if not, I pray, blot me out of your book which you have written." Exodus 32:32. And the Lord said to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot him out of my book." Exodus 32:33. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteousness. Psalm 69:28. He who overcomes shall be clothed in white garments, and I will not blot out his name from the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father, before his angels. Revelations 3:5. And if anyone takes away from the words in this book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part from the book of life, from the holy city, and from things which are written in this book. Revelation 22:19. A good example of how we should take this warning seriously is the life of a man named Charles Templeton. A generation ago, he was deeply involved in the foundation of Youth for Christ and impacted the nation for Jesus. Many people received Jesus at his meetings, and Mr. Templeton was an associate with Billy Graham in his early years. Nevertheless, he renounced his belief in Jesus, renounced even his belief in God, and said he was an atheist. Charles Templeton totally renounced his early confessions of faith and wanted to rescue the people he once brought to Jesus. Obviously, this man, in his present apostate state, is not going to heaven and did not want to. One may long debate if he was ever saved or if he lost his salvation. But at the end of the debate, there are two conclusions. First, at one time, by all human appearance, he was saved. Second, he didn't honor the warnings of the Bible telling us to keep walking, to keep trusting, and to keep persevering in the faith. 6. In the genealogies of the Bible, there are two books mentioned. The book of the generation of Adam, Genesis 5:1, and the book of the generation of Jesus Christ, Matthew 1:1. Being born of Adam doesn't guarantee that our names are written in the book of life. Being born again, born of Jesus Christ, gives us that assurance. D. But I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. This was an amazing promise. It simply makes sense that we should be willing to confess the name of Jesus, but it is amazing that he would not be ashamed to confess us. 1. It is important for us to accept Jesus, but it is far more important to know that Jesus accepts us. Revelations 3:6. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. A. Let him hear. We must all hear what the Spirit says to the church at Sardis. It is easy to drift in sleepy apathy towards spiritual death, especially when you have a good reputation. Still, there is always hope for the dead church because Jesus knows how to raise the dead. B. The Spirit says to the churches. What the Spirit says to the churches. Sardis teaches us that we must be aware of our success. The city was wealthy and knew easy living, but it made them soft and spoiled. Sardis also teaches us that we be watchful at our strongest points. Sardis thought it was unconquerable, and so it was conquered. Where we say, I would never do that, is the exact place we must guard against. 1. The British Field Marshal Montgomery used to say, one man can lose me a battle, one corrupt or disobedient Christian can lose a battle for an entire church. First, they can lose a battle simply through their own point of failure. Second, they can lose a battle because they lead others into their same sin. Finally, they lose a battle because they foster a spirit of accommodation to sin in the other members of the church. One man can lose a battle.
Jesus' letter to the church at Philadelphia, Revelation 3:7. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, write these things, saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and no man openeth. Philadelphia. The name means brotherly love, and this city was the youngest of the 7 cities and was originally founded as a missionary outpost for Hellenism, the culture of ancient Greece. The original purpose behind this key city was to make it a center for spreading Greek language, culture, and manners throughout the Asian provinces. Hawking. Philadelphia had been built with the deliberate intention that it might become a missionary city beyond Philadelphia, lay the wilds of Phrygia and the Barbarous tribes, and it was intended that the function of Philadelphia should be to spread the Greek language, the Greek way of life, the Greek civilization throughout the regions beyond. Barclay. The city gained its name after its founder, Attalus II, who was nicknamed Philadelphos. Philadelphia. This was a prosperous city. Philadelphia commanded one of the greatest highways in the world. The highway which led from Europe to the east, Philadelphia was the gateway from one continent to another. Barclay. Philadelphia. This city was also known for beautiful buildings. It was called the Little Athens, and her earthquakes, which required frequent evacuations. To walk through its temple scattered streets was to be reminded of Athens, the center of worship of the Olympian gods, Barclay. these these things says he who is holy, he who is true. Jesus reminded the church in Philadelphia that he was holy and true. These do not describe tendencies within Jesus, but his very being. They also show that Jesus is Yahweh because he alone is holy in an absolute sense. There are two ancient Greek words that we might translate true. One means true and not false, the other means true and not fake. The ancient Greek word used here for true, alethinos, is the second with the idea of real or genuine. Jesus is true in all who he is. He is the real God and the real man. He who has the key of David, he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens. Jesus showed he is also the keeper of the keys and doors. In this quotation from Isaiah 22 through 23, Jesus expressed his power and authority, especially to admit and exclude. Revelations 3:8. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. I know your works. Jesus said this to each of the seven churches. The church of Philadelphia had served God well in difficult circumstances, and Jesus knew it. I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. The church in Philadelphia had an open door set before them. Often, an open door speaks of evangelical opportunity. 1 Corinthians 16:9, 2 Corinthians 2:12, and Colossians 4:3. Jesus told them he had opened the door of evangelistic opportunity, and they must go through that door in faith. In its history, Philadelphia had a great evangelistic calling. The city had the mission of spreading Greek culture and language through the whole region. Now, Jesus opened the door for the Christians of Philadelphia to spread the culture of his kingdom through the whole region. Jesus told them to see that they had this open door. Sometimes God sets an open door of evangelistic opportunity in front of us, but we don't see it. A man once came to Spurgeon and asked how he could win others to Jesus. Spurgeon asked him, "What are you? What do you do?" The man said, "I'm an engine driver on a train." Then said Spurgeon, "Is the man who shovels coal on your train a Christian?" "I don't know," said the man. "Go back," said Spurgeon, "and find out and start on him." Once we see the open door, we then have to walk through it. God wants us to take every evangelistic opportunity that he gives us. There may be another sense to this open door. It seems Christians in Philadelphia were excluded from the synagogue, Revelations 3:9. The open door may also speak of their opportunity to enter God's kingdom in contrast with exclusion from the synagogue, and no one can shut it. The emphasis is on unhindered openness. There is nothing that can keep them from their access to this door, since Jesus is he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens. Revelation 3:7. He had the authority to keep this door open for the Christians in Philadelphia. David could shut or open the kingdom of Israel to whom he pleased. He was not bound to leave the kingdom even to his eldest son. He could choose whom he pleased to succeed him. The kingdom of the gospel and the kingdom of heaven are at the disposal of Christ. Clark. God opens doors for ministry and ministers today. I would like to bear witness that I have proved the Philadelphian promise of the open door through years of ministry and has never failed. Promotion does not come from the south, east, or west, but from God. And if we commit our way unto Him and trust Him, He will bring it to pass. God's man is not dependent on religious talent, scouts, nor his ministry. In the hand of ecclesiastical officials, his headquarters is heaven, and his itinerary is made up by the Lord of the open door, Havner. Because Jesus has opened the door, he gets the glory for it. Neither wealth or influence, neither promotional schemes nor eloquence of its pulpit, nor the harmonies of its musicians can give it an effective ministry. The Lord alone has opened the door. The Lord alone giveth the increase. H. Morris.
Thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye!